Hi guys, you are listening to the 20 something and trying podcast, and I am your host, Laura Jaye. Thank you so much for listening. Hi guys, welcome back to the third episode. Today, I'm just so excited to be talking to you. I'm absolutely buzzing. I'm in a chatty, yappy mood, and I feel really passionate about what we're talking about today, which I will warn you that I have not structured the episode like I usually would. I have just written down a few bullet points and I'm gonna chat. I'm gonna yap. And we may go down some tangents, we may be reaching tangent territory, but I'm just gonna see where the episode takes us. So today's episode is Am I healed or am I just boring? And this is a thought that runs through my head way more than I care to admit. Way more than I care to admit. Because I have gone from being a girly that was considerably outside having fun, to a homebody, and some people could probably quite easily perceive me as quite a boring girly. When I was younger, if there was one thing you could say to me that would just offend me beyond no other, that would send me spiraling, that would make me do anything, it was call me boring. My ego could not take being called boring. I thought it was the most offensive thing in the world. I thought, oh my god, like, I just cannot take this. I just can't take this. My ego could not hack it. And now I don't really care if you call me boring, because I probably am in some eyes quite a boring gal. So for me, there is this really fundamental, like, before and after period of my life where, when I look back at my last couple of years, is separated. It's separated by this before period and this after period. And I would say the before is kind of anything before I went traveling in 2024, and the after period is coming home. Traveling itself, that's a lifetime, that's a whole other thing. But there is this big before traveling and this big after traveling of this kind of version of myself. The before was very go outside, party, drink, club, another club, bus, like you know it. Like, I was, if there was an event, I was there. If there was a place to be, I was there. And I was at every house party, every garden party, every pub, club, every night of the week. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I truly did have the time of my life. And then I came home from traveling, and there was like this flip had switched in me where I was like, this lifestyle is just not for me anymore. I don't enjoy going out. I don't enjoy drinking as much. I don't enjoy being around drunk people. I don't want people to spill their drink on me or push into me. I don't want to subject myself to like being hit on, because if you are a girly, you know that if you are not interested, for me, obviously, I have a boyfriend, so I'm never interested. Rejecting a guy is like an alarm goes off in your head, because I never want to say sorry I have a boyfriend, because I'm not sorry. I love my relationship, and I don't want to be like, sorry I've got a boyfriend. That's the only reason that I wouldn't. But also there's this like, oh, if I reject you, are you gonna get angry? Are you gonna say something horrible? Like, some lovely men just go like, yeah, sure, cool, and walk away. But so many men don't do that. And I just don't want to subject myself to it. I hate deciding what to wear. I hate just the whole thing. Going out is really not my shtick anymore. It's not my cup of tea. And it used to be. So there's this whole big before and after. And I have gone through a phase of feeling really boring in my after period, where I definitely did genuinely come home and was boring. I came home from traveling, I was pretty depressed, I was pretty in the travel blues. I didn't have a job and I didn't live at home with my family. So I came back pretty miserable. I spent a lot of time asleep, a lot of time in bed, a lot of time scrolling, and I wasn't I was quite boring, and I can point blank say I was boring, and I needed to get out of that. I didn't want to be considered boring to myself. I didn't care about an outside perception because I wasn't outside. I was not outside. I did not need, it was the last thing on my mind was what everyone else was thinking. But I was just like, I feel boring. I don't do anything. And I had to combat that and figure out how to not be boring. And the first thing I did was realize that hot girls have hobbies. And I had no hobbies. So I was not a hot girl. I was not living my potential. I was sitting every day just scrolling through my phone, not paying attention to anything going on around me. And I think hobbies are important for like a number of reasons. I think they help calm the nervous system, they help you when you're stressed. And when you're in your 20s, it's so easy to feel like you're kind of losing yourself, whether it be to a relationship or a job. Like it's just easy. So I think having hobbies gives you a little bit of personality. It gives you something. If you feel like you're losing yourself, if you feel like you don't know anything about yourself anymore, you can have a hobby and be like, oh, I'm a runner, or I'm a gym girl, or I paint. Like, there's something about you that you confidently know that keeps you with your identity, it keeps you with some personality, and keeps you from losing your personality or losing yourself. And I didn't have any hobbies. I shopped. That was about it. That was the only thing that I could consider like an activity that I done, was go shopping. And 9 times out of 10, it was food shopping because I had no money because I was unemployed. So it wasn't even fun shopping. So I realised that I needed some hobbies. And I think a lot of your 20s is coming back to kind of who you were as a kid, who you were between the ages of like 11 to 15, and being kind to that person, being kind to her, just falling in love with all the things that you used to do as a kid. You come back to them in your 20s and you don't feel this shame or embarrassment over them anymore. For example, I have been a Harry Potter fan since I was about 9 years old. I've absolutely loved Harry Potter. And between the ages of probably like 9 and 12, I spent so much time making anything to do with Harry Potter, like crafts. I used to make wands. I had a hot glue gun and make all these like funky little wands. I would make potions. I would recreate letters from Hogwarts and like plaster my room with all these different kinds of crafts. And my absolutely lovely sister would tell people about this because she thought it was so endearing and so sweet. My little like 11-year-old brain was like, oh my god, this is so embarrassing. I cannot be known as the girl that makes the Harry Potter crafts. Like, this is mortifying. Like, this is so embarrassing. And there are so many things that this relates to, because when you are like in that kind of year 6, year 7, year 8 kind of stage, everything is embarrassing. Everything is, I can't hold my parents' hands. I can't openly like this thing in case other people don't like it. I can't have this hobby in case other people don't. The amount of girls that quit dancing in them ages is like the highest statistic when they quit, because it suddenly just feels like, oh, everyone's going to make fun of me for loving something, for feeling passionate about something. And I think being in your 20s is coming back to all of those things and just openly loving it, feeling no shame, no embarrassment, being the girl that loves Harry Potter, being the girl that loves Hannah Montana and listens to Disney playlists in her car. That's why you have so many Disney adults, because I think you come back to it with like the no shame, no embarrassment. I'm just going to be who I am. Like, I do not care. And basically, I needed to come back to that. I needed to get some hobbies. Some of them were new, some of them were brand new. I started bedazzling my skincare. I have started doing little clay magnets. I love making little clay magnets. I find it so fun, like plaster my fridge and little croissants and love hearts and things like that made out of clay. I bought a whole new paint set, acrylic paints, watercolor paints, canvases. Me and my friend made a mood board at the start of the year and like cut out loads of little pictures and stuck them on a canvas. It was just, I've come back to crafts. I have started doing home workouts. Okay, guys, we are in the storage wars. We are in the, is the video going to cut out because the storage is gone again? So we're going to try and speed this up. Basically, I had hobbies, get some hobbies. The next thing I done was really enjoying my relationship a lot more. Like, I had so much time where when I was younger, I spent my weekends in clubs and pubs and, you know, I was outside and I had all this free time at the weekends, which I know it sounds so silly to be like, oh, obviously spend time in your relationship. But we started going out and playing darts, going out and playing pool, like doing actual fun activities that weren't just let's sit at home and watch a movie. If we were a little shy on money that month and did need to sit home and watch a movie, we wouldn't make it like a boring sit at home, watch the movie like kind of vibe. We would get the snacks, we would set the bed up to be like a little like den, a little concavey little like, I don't know how to describe it, like a cute little den thing. And we would put fairy lights on, we'd put candles on, like we would do anything we could just to make it feel a little bit more special and a little bit more, you know, something was going on. It was a bit more of a date night sort of thing than just this, oh, we're sitting down, we're watching TV again. Like, it was something a bit more entertaining than that. And I just, you know, I'd imagine that if you were in your 20s, you are in a relationship because that person is your best friend, that person is your favorite person to spend time with, and hanging out with them is funny. It feels like hanging out with your best friend. That is the whole point, in my opinion, of being in a relationship in your 20s. So I just lent into that a little bit more. I lent into that and just began to really enjoy being in a relationship and being with this person. And like, oh, I'd just done so many months long distance with this person, and now I get to hang out with them all the time. Right now I live with him. Like, it's so much fun. I live with my best friends. Like, doing all these mundane boring tasks are actually made so much fun because I'm doing them with my best friend now. The next thing I had to worry about was a social life. I didn't really have one when I came home. My before period, I was so outside. I was spending time with my friends in pubs, clubs, parties. If we went out for dinner, it was like dinner with 2 bowls of wine. If it was an activity, it was like sip and paint. It was everything revolved around having a drink. And on one side, there was friends that I came home that didn't want to have anything to do with hanging out if it didn't involve alcohol, if hanging out didn't have a club pub-esque vibe to it. And on the side where it's kind of like my fault is I had spent so much time in friendships where this was what we done, that I didn't know how to have a friendship that didn't revolve around these things. I really came home with a huge bout of social anxiety, which did not help. I was entering so many social situations where I immediately felt like the room hated me. I would walk into a room, whether it's family, friends, people I did know, people I didn't know, especially a group that were already friends, and I'd gotten so bad with my social anxiety that I just thought everyone hated me. I thought every comment was a dig, every comment was an insult. Like, I was so insecure, and I'm still working through it. I'm not saying like I'm a changed woman in a year, like I'm still working through it. I really struggled with this idea that because I have a podcast, because I post online, and because I'm really comfortable talking to a camera and talking online, that everyone must assume that I'm really confident. So if I am going into a group of people, I'm not the shy girl where everyone can be like, oh, she's so cute, she's just a little bit shy, she's really sweet, she's just shy. Like, I've got such a public persona of being really confident and easily talking to a camera that if I'm going into a room of people and not talking, they must think I'm arrogant. They must think that I'm too good to talk to them because they see me online talking all the time to TikTok and my camera and things like that. That I was entering social situations thinking that everyone in that room must think that I'm really arrogant or just must immediately not like me. And everything that I was saying, I'd be like, oh, why am I saying that? Why am I doing that? And I just really, really, really struggled. And a huge thing that I had to kind of get over was, of course, obviously that social anxiety, but also kind of like the fear of rejection. Like, I was really scared if I asked people to hang out and go to a Pilates class or go to a pottery class or paint with me or do some little crafts with me, that no one would care unless I said, like, should we do some crafts with the 2 bottles of wine, or should we do some crafts and cocktails, or like, I just had to kind of get over that fear. And sometimes people didn't want to hang out. So some friends I have just grown apart from. That's absolutely fine. There doesn't have to be this big bad blood, like, oh, we've had a huge argument, we're never going to be friends again. Just at this moment in time, I've had to let some friends fade out and let some, we're on different paths, we have different priorities, we have different ideas of fun, and I'm not someone that's probably going to be fun to be on a night out with, because it's not my setting, it's not where I feel comfortable. And vice versa for this person, they're not going to enjoy coming to a pottery class because they're just going to find it boring, they're just not going to find it fun. And some friendships have just faded out. Some friendships I have, okay guys, we are well and truly in the wars of the storage management. Okay, so again, very sorry if the screen has changed or anything like that, but I think I got up to, some friends are just my fun friends. Not everybody has to be your bestest therapy friend, the most amazing friend. Some friends are just, they're gonna be a good time. I'm gonna invite them to a birthday party or on a girls' holiday or like whatever it may be. They're gonna make me laugh. We're gonna dance. Like, it's gonna be a great, great time. And some friends, it worked out. Like, some friends, I bit the bullet. I stopped being so scared of being rejected, and I asked if they just wanted to hang out and do some normal things, some quieter, more peaceful things, and it worked in my favour. And now I've got some friends that I can do my little granny activities with. I can do some knitting, I can do some crochet, I can do some painting, like whatever. We don't have to drink, we don't have to go out in a club, we don't have to be like screaming at each other across the room. Like, that's just, the friendship is just pretty chilled out, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I feel like I can get to know people more. I feel like we might be doing a little activity and having a little yap whilst we do it, and I get to learn about people and nourish my friendships and just make them even better, even deeper, even more meaningful. And in turn, that makes me more grateful, that makes me happier. Like, it's just such a win-win situation, and I'm absolutely over the moon with it. It couldn't have worked out better for me. And yes, okay, I did lose a couple of friends of kind of being like, maybe we just aren't on the right path, the same path, not the right path. Maybe we're just not on the same pathway right now. Maybe in the future, in a couple of years, we'll be in like more similar boats again and come back in touch. Not everything has to be like, these are conversations I haven't even had with people where I've been like, oh, we need to like not be friends anymore. It's nothing like that. It is literally just me personally. I've kind of been like, maybe we don't really see eye to eye right now, and I hope and pray you have an incredible life and that we meet up again sometime. We're on the same wavelength again, but right now it's just a bit different. And the last thing that I wanted to touch on before I leave you guys is, I saw a Tana Mojo video where she was saying, if you have spent your whole life on a roller coaster, if you've spent your whole life in chaos, getting off the roller coaster can feel boring. And it really resonated with me, and I thought I would share it onwards, because whether you relate that to your school life, your home life, relationships, friendships, if you have spent a lot of time in turmoil, in chaos, in toxic relationships, toxic friendships, you have just grown up or spent a significant time in chaos, when you come out of it, it can feel boring. It can feel like mundane. And it took me a really long time to realize that I was just entering a peaceful era. I think getting off the roller coaster, getting off out of that chaos, getting out of that negativity, and coming into a really just peaceful time in your life, a quieter time, a more comforting time, a time where you're a bit kinder to yourself, can at first feel really boring. It doesn't anymore. And I think I do understand that, you know, in that argument, am I healed or am I boring? I am just healing. I'm coming into a peaceful place. I have had to reframe what boring means to me. You know, I used to find somebody that stayed at home really boring and going out really fun. And I've had to reframe that because I am that person that now stays at home, that doesn't mean that I'm boring. I just have a different idea of fun now. I used to find clubbing fun. I now find painting fun. Like, it's just a different setup, is just a different scenario. It's a different idea of fun, and I have reframed what fun and boring kind of all mean to me. And very, very lastly, the very final touch on that point is if somebody does think that I'm boring. That's very easy. I stay at home a lot. I have a very small circle. My best friend is my boyfriend. Like, yeah, you are probably well within your rights to think I'm boring, but I am so many more things. You are so many more things than being boring. I love painting, I love reading, I love movies and film and falling in love with characters and then like taking in all of their media, watching every interview they've ever done and watching every fan edit of them. And like, I'm such a fangirl for music, for characters. So like, I was born with the fangirl gene. I love animals. I honestly feel the most myself I could possibly feel when I am around animals. I love traveling, very obviously. Like, I absolutely adore traveling. I love sitting and doing my little crafts, making my little clay magnets, bedazzling my little skincare caps. Like, there's so many more things about me that make me me, that make me, in my eyes, fun than going out clubbing, going out and being the typical girl in her 20s idea of fun. And that's the same case for you. Or if you are watching and you are somebody that loves clubbing and loves being out, you listen to the music, you love getting drunk, you love being with your friends, like, that's you. Like, that's amazing. Like, that's still such a good thing. That is your idea of fun and nobody can tell you differently. So if you want to call me boring, go ahead. I probably am quite boring, but I don't care. I have fun. I have my small little circle. I have my boyfriend. I have my family. I have my little place. And I finally fallen in love with that. I finally fallen in love with my little peaceful grandma era. And yeah, that's everything. So that is the end of the episode, guys. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have stayed along with me because that was a very tangenty, very interrupted episode. Thank you to my storage again. So really hope you guys have stayed along with me. Thank you so much for watching. If you have gotten this far, please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, follow, all of them things. I will leave everything on the screen for social handles. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Bye!